A lot of people look at us as robots or just out doing a job, but everything we see and do affects us just like it does everybody else.
A lot of problems with first responders and veterans is that now we're in a battlefield that's very different.
I've lost more friends to suicide than I did in combat, and it really hurts.
When you push the human envelope to those maximum extents, physically, psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually, and then you pull that plug, nothing prepares you for the silence. Nothing prepares you for that void.
You can't come that close to death without it having some effect on you.
I'll never forget my wife telling me, you know, you're not the same Brett that I married.
What War Horses does is it puts you in that environment to, in essence, look in the mirror. But that mirror's that horse. And that horse is going to tell you where you're at.
You got to relax. You got to calm down. You got to slow your mind down and just think about this one thing, controlling that horse.
The first thing we do before we get on a horse, we breathe. Let go of everything. Let go of everything in your head. If I don't let go of everything, I cannot be present with the horse.
It's magic. I just started crying. It was the first time in my life that I literally let everything go.
Compassion, generosity, love, all of these things trickle back into what it is to be a human being.
It's completely changed me.
All the confidence I had lost, it started coming back working with these horses. They've given me my life back.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
Have you ever done it so much you had to put your dick in the freezer?
All right, everybody. Welcome to Friday Night Freedom. My name is Kaz. And, wow, the 8th day of April 2022. It's going to be a great weekend, man. I'm glad you guys are starting it off with us. Anyway, like I was saying, my name is Kaz, and up there is Pookie. And we're going to have a good time tonight, man. I haven't decided whether it's winter or spring yet. I know some folks in the country are getting thunderstorms, and then they get some snow, and the sun comes out, and then boom, it's back up to 60-something degrees. We had
tornadoes.
We had, oh my gosh, it's been 80s, I guess, 80s, 70s, 80s. It gets up to the 90s every once in a while. Tomorrow morning when I wake up, we're going to be in the 30s. And it'll warm up to the 70s. It's crazy, man. I don't get this. I don't get it. And then we got storms again this week. It's like every week for the last 3 or 4 weeks, we've had like hail and tornadoes and crap, man. We had like 6 tornadoes blow through this last week. The one was I actually got woken up by the tornado alarms. I got a weather radio in the house, and it was going off. So if the weather radio goes off, then it's like, okay, time to get serious. And it was late. I was already sleeping, so of course you get that sense of not really that important. It's kind of like the incoming alarm when you're on the fob or something, and you're just like, nah, whatever.
Go back to sleep.
But it was raining pretty hard, so I got up and I got ready. My tornado go-to space is really, it's unconventional. A lot of people say get to the innermost portion of your home that doesn't have any windows. Well, my house is kind of under construction, so my normally my tornado room is right over there. And it's a closet, no windows, but the room that it's in has windows, so I can't use this room, and it's a small house. So my tornado go-to place is in the garage and in my car. That's about the safest place I can go.
Probably the smartest thing that, yeah, I was telling my mother that the other day. We were having tornadoes come through South Carolina area, and I was like, the safest place for us to go right now is a carport.
Yep.
In the car.
Yep.
And she's like, what are you talking about? I was like, at least we have tempered safety glass to protect us. If something comes flying through, everything else in this house is single pane. You're just going to get...
Yeah. You got to get out of those places with single pane. I mean, and even, if you get in that car and if you crack the window or something, you're not going to get any vacuum. So yeah, that's probably a decent plan. I am not, I don't know if that's the best plan. That's the best plan that I've got. Max Snyder was saying at Drum it was snowing, and then it was 65 this week. Yeah,
sounds like West Virginia.
He said he's in the tornado magnet section of Mississippi.
Mississippi be getting hit hard.
Yeah,
them and Alabama both. I've been keeping up. Well, I have to pay attention to that because whatever hits that comes up my way. So it's just.
Well, you had some pretty dicey crap happen. I mean, it was in the South Carolina area, and I don't know if it made it as far as the coast.
The tornadoes were all mostly west 95 out of 95. So we got lucky there, and that's the way it always is. We get that coastal air that pushes up most of the time and pushes everything away from us.
That's good. That's good. Normally, even I'm in the Fort Worth metro area. Normally, the big stuff comes and it goes. You see this radar image of this nasty storm coming, and then it splits in the middle where Fort Worth is, and it just goes whoop. So you might get some really nasty storms in Denton, and you might get some really nasty storms that go south and then hit Waco or something. But every once in a while. What's up, Joe? Joe Holmes. Allendale, South Carolina had a monster touchdown.
Yeah, we had a pretty bad one touchdown close to here. That was I'd say 30, maybe 40 miles away.
That's close. It's close.
The biggest thing I got to worry about where I live is the hurricane season, which is coming up here in a couple months, and that's when shit gets crazy.
When does that start? I
think it's June
or July. I was thinking
it's June through November, I believe.
That's crazy. That's one of the reasons why I never moved to. I really wanted to move to and live in Florida, or somewhere in the Panhandle of Florida, or even down Tampa area is really nice. But dude, it's just
Tampa's beautiful.
I don't want to have to deal with tornadoes.
Tampa, Clearwater,
or with hurricanes rather. So hello everybody here on the radio page, WTF Nation Radio, WTF U.S. Army WTF Moments, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. The Twitter. We're on the Twitter. I got a 24-hour ban on Twitter.
Oh, congratulations!
For something that I posted 2 weeks ago, that Levine guy, the Health and Human Services the trans guy.
Oh, he was Pennsylvania's health person there for a while.
And he ended up getting some like Woman of the Year or something like that. So I said congratulations, dude. And I got banned for it 2 weeks after the fact. It was a 24-hour ban. I was 6 hours into the ban before I realized I was banned. William White says he's imbibing already. What's everyone drinking, man? Is anybody imbibing this evening? I see you had put a drink check out in the chats.
Yes, I've been drinking since about 6.
This evening, I hope.
Yes. No, I don't day drink like that.
It's been such a long time since I've done day drinking. It's been years.
I hate it. I hate doing it. I really hate doing it. It ruins the rest of my week up so bad. It's ridiculous at that point.
Well, I only if I do drink, it's only when I don't have work the next day, and if I'm up working on the house, I like to keep my wits about me, especially if I'm climbing up and around in the attic and it's hot outside. I don't want to pass out, and they're going to find my corpse in 6 or 8 weeks, just all gooey and nasty up in the attic. But sometimes it's fun.
I'll do it once in a while where it's like I got a whole day of yard work, so like around noon I'll crack a cold beer, and about every hour I'll drink a beer, and usually by the afternoon I'm a little like couple sheets to the wind, and it's good that way. But
well, I mean, nothing tastes better than a cold beer after you've been cutting the grass for a couple of hours or doing some work outside or doing something. So, but do it responsibly, man. Don't go out and drinking and driving and stuff. If you need to get somewhere, call an Uber or have a friend take you there.
Or if you live in one of those awesome states where they actually deliver alcohol to your house,
I haven't tried that yet. I don't feel like paying twice the value for whatever. But it's cool. I mean, we've got drive-through freaking liquor stores here.
Georgia does too. It used to blow my mind because I never seen anything like that. I was like, what?
And then you go and you do it once and you feel like you're doing something illegal. Like, oh, it's a trap. Hey, what's up, Sin? Happy Friday to you, too. So I posted, the very first post of the show was ask me about my dinner disaster. This isn't just a dinner disaster. This was something that, this has been a bad week for food for me, which is really, it hurts my heart because I do like food. But I've been super busy this week. Normally I would make dinner at home, but I had some contractors at the house, so I got my fence replaced this week, which is cool. That thing was, after talking to my neighbor who decided to go halvesies on me, she says, I've been living here for 15 years and that fence has never been replaced. So this fence, she goes, it needed to be replaced when I moved in. I was like, oh, okay. So I'm guessing that fence was probably born when this house was built in the 80s. So I got that replaced.
Nice enough to go halvesies with you on it, huh?
Dude, I've got some cool neighbors, man. I don't live in the greatest neighborhood at all, but I've got some of the best neighbors ever. The renters, the people that own the homes that they're in, everyone takes care of their shit here. It's like this little, it's a really good neighborhood with really good friendly people. And just talking to her, I'm like, hey, you want to go half? And she's like, I've been wanting to. I talked to her about it last summer. And she's like, yeah. And she wasn't going to do the footwork, interviewing contractors and having them come out and giving bids and shit like that. So I finally did it because I'm sick of, when I looked down my fence line, I'm looking down my fence line and it's just like it's just,
oh yeah.
I was sick of looking at that. And we've been having some pretty bad wind this last week, the last couple of weeks. And the fences, it's just fixed. It's one good gust away from just falling into my yard, and I didn't want that to happen. So, I hired it ends up being, they were a veteran. They were a couple of veterans, a couple of Army veterans, and came out and gave me a quote, and I just liked the way that they carried themselves. They were honest and they were cool, and I went with them. They were the best bid. And I wanted to, from the time that I met them, those are the people that I wanted to go with. There was another one, which was a close second, but they couldn't start. They were so busy and they didn't have the materials. They couldn't start for 10 weeks. And I'm like, I don't want to wait 10 weeks for a fence. So I got that done, and it's really great because it's a cedar fence. I paid for the cedar fence, and boy, does it smell good. I stood outside after they was done and they cut the gates in. I stood outside. I put my hands on the gate. And I'm just like, it's like President Biden sniffing children, man. I'm just attached to that fence. It smelled good. It really smelled good. It still does. So those guys are going to come over like this week. We've been having it's been, like I said, really windy. So it's been too windy to go and treat the fence. But they're going to come out and treat it sometime this week. But Monday and Tuesday, I think Wednesday maybe, we got like severe storms coming. So I don't know.
Yeah, I saw that. That whole area is supposed to get hit pretty bad come Monday, Tuesday timeframe.
But hey, I hope
that time of year.
It is, and it happens every year, and it's for some folks it's like, oh my gosh, this is all brand new, and I'm like, no, it happens every year. It happens every damn year. So anyway, let's talk about my pre-show dinner disaster. And this happened tonight. So like I said, I've had some really bad luck with with food this week. So let me see, the 4th. What day is this? I'm looking at my receipts. Sorry. Okay, that's the 4th. This is the 5th. So 2 days in a row, the 4th and the 5th. The 4th, I left work. This is the 4th. This is the taco day. So I was running behind, and I had a lot to do. So I went to Taco Bell. And normally, I've never been treated bad by Taco Bell, except for these things. But I went there. There was a person who was in front of me. There was no one behind me. There wasn't a lot of people there. So I pulled up and I ordered something, and then I got something when I got to I got exactly not what I ordered. It's like everything that was in that bag was not what I ordered. The only thing that matched was the Pepsi. And that was it. Everything else, I ended up getting a Crunch Wrap combo, a Crunch Wrap Supreme Beef Crunchy Taco, 2 beef crunchy tacos, and 5 fire sauces. I didn't order any of that shit. The only thing that was on the receipt that I got, the thing is I ended up getting more food than I ordered because I just ordered for myself. I usually get I think I ordered a Crunch Wrap Supreme and like an extra 2 tacos. And I ended up getting all this other food. So that when you order something, you kind of got your heart set on having that thing.
Oh, yeah.
And then you don't get it. You open it up and you're like, oh, and then you get that Joe Pesci in your head. They fuck you in the drive-thru. Yeah, that's kind of what happened. So then the next day was the day that I had my fence installed. I had to work late that day. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be able to make dinner. So I'm gonna stop by and get something to eat. I'm like, dude, I got contractors at the house. I'm gonna be a cool dude. I'm gonna bring them some dinner. So in my head, I'm like, do I go to like Firehouse Subs? Do I go to Subway? And I'm like, something out of the normal. I'm going to go to Chicken Express. I don't know if you have a Chicken Express in your town, but it looks like the rubber chicken, flying across they have, I haven't been there in a long time, and they have really good chicken wings, or chicken tenders rather. So I ordered 2 combo number 2s, one for me, one for those guys. And these combos are supposed to come with 7 tenders. These damn things came with 6 tenders. Not only did they short me a tender per box, the tenders that were in the box were small as hell. They were really small. Normally they're like, boom, about as big as your hand. So I got 6 of those, but they were very, very small, and they upped their prices. You used to be able to get that combo for like $10, $10.24 or something was the total after tax. And this was, let me see, before tax, the price on those dudes, I can read, $13.99. So I bet you they upped their price at least $3, maybe a little bit more than $3.
Inflation.
So $3 for less food. But dude, their sweet tea is legit. And they have good ice. They have like Sonic ice.
Is Chicken Express like one of those restaurants that come out of California that's kind of like migrated to Texas?
I don't know.
I've never heard of it.
I don't know. We had them. There was a Chicken Express on, I want to say it was either Hood Boulevard or Rancier. No, it wasn't Rancier. It must have been Hood Boulevard.
I'm looking at it now. It's a Texas thing. I never heard. It's like Bojangles. When I tell people about Bojangles, everyone like, what's Bojangles? It's like, it's a Carolina thing, man.
I think we have Bojangles here. We have like Frickers. We had Frickers in Ohio. Frickers chicken. They're all pretty good. They don't suck. I love chicken. I do like chicken. Fried chicken.
I don't think anyone doesn't like fried chicken.
So the dinner disaster culminated. It came to a head tonight, about 30 minutes before the show. We had some of the guys went out and they got Indian food for dinner. One of the guys didn't like his, so he took a bite. He didn't like it, so he's just like, "Hey man, do you want this?" I'm like, "Sure, I'll take it. I'll have it for dinner tonight." Because Friday night freedom. I don't have a lot of time between the time I get home from work and the time that the show begins, and there's a lot of prep that I have to do. So I'm like, bet, dude, I'll take that, you know. So I put it back in the bag, stuck it in the refrigerator, and I brought it home for dinner. I warmed it up in the microwave. It smelled delicious. Ooh, it smelled really, really good. And then I took a bite. And for some reason, it wasn't that spicy, but I got the most hellacious hiccups, like ugly hiccups, like, and it was like repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going on the air in 20 minutes. What am I going to do? So I started drinking, and it wasn't that hot. It's not like it was too hot for my face or anything. It wasn't bad. It's just something triggered that, whatever the hell that was. And I had the hiccups for probably 15 minutes until I'd calmed down and let Pookie know in our team chat that, hey man, you can call in. But man, I ended up reheating like something else that I've been sitting in my refrigerator for a day or two. It was pastaroni. Dude, if you're gonna reheat pastaroni, make sure you put a little milk or something. If you got the look on your face like, pasta what? Pastaroni, it's good college food. It's like ramen, but it's not ramen. It's pastaroni. You can get like Parmesan or cheesy something. It's like it's angel hair pasta and flavor. Insert flavor here. You reheat that crap. And it's like,
I've heard of rice-a-roni, but I've never heard of pasta-roni.
It's just a different part of the same family.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay.
It's like a doll. It's like
little cups.
Yeah, no,
it comes in little cups.
But it's
I'm looking at it.
Right, and this is a box. It feeds a family of, well, in my case, one. You reheat that stuff, and dude, it's just somewhere between the time that you ate it last and the next time you eat it, every ounce of moisture goes away, and you have this brick of freaking noodles. So that's what I satisfied my hunger with right before the show. Was
some like decent looking flavors. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, they do, and it'll make you hungry. I had tonight was I had the Parmesan one. They have like butter, garlic, and Parmesan, and then like cheesy shell something or others.
Not that too bad. I really legitimately have never seen pastaroni before.
It's good especially if you're in a hurry. It's really good. I mean, I've got I cut up, or I'll make some chicken. I'll take some chicken breast and cube them up, and add that to it, or maybe add some veggies in there, just to be seemingly healthy. Because with all of that salt,
rabbit food to it.
Yeah, you got to add a little bit of rabbit food. Anyway, so that was my dinner disaster. It wasn't even really that bad, but those hiccups they hurt. They hurt my throat. They hurt my abdomen. I was like, holy crap! So I'm gonna barf something up here. But
it's like heartburn, really.
Yeah, I'll probably get that heartburn tonight. But I did put that Indian food back in the refrigerator. I'm going to try it again tomorrow.
You're a brave man.
I like Indian food, man. It's kind of heavy on the curry, but yeah, it's okay. I kind of got sick of curry when I was in Iraq.
Yeah, one like Middle Eastern food. I love Middle Eastern food, and there's like one Middle Eastern restaurant in this area, and they only open for dinner, and it's like this high class, like 4-star crap. And I'm like,
nice.
Yeah, I ain't Vanderbilt rich, you know. I ain't that kind of, you know. So 4-star restaurants kind of out of the. But I love like Middle Eastern food and Indian food, and it's just like, or Korean food. You can't find any of that around my area, and it blows my mind because this is a huge tourist destination.
Wow,
they make a killing off of it, but I love some bulgogi, you know, perfect.
A little bit of kimchi. I don't like the kimchi.
Oh, I love kimchi.
I like it. I don't like the way it smells, though. So that kind of keeps me away. So I got. Speaking of diets, we got a guy in Ohio, and he's on a beer diet. Have you read this story? This is pretty interesting.
Little bits of it.
Oh, okay. I'm not going to talk about Ukraine tonight, but. And I know when you say but, it kind of erases everything that you've said previously. But I think I found the greatest photo ever. Tell me when you see it.
The Russian guy running from the drone?
Oh no, that was another good one.
Oh,
Wolverines. That is like the best thing ever, and I'm gonna have to go and watch Red. What is it? Red Dawn. Red Dawn.
Yeah,
This is like Red Dawn 2 happening right now in Ukraine. So yeah, I'm not gonna talk about the war except for I got a story that kind of relates to it, but I'm not gonna talk about that bullshit going over there. It's just so hard. It's so hard to figure out and to choose what is true news. It's kind of obvious what the propaganda, the Russian propaganda is, because they'll like legit show video game footage and say this is us taking over whatever. And it's really, really bad, poorly put together. But yeah, it's just, I really need more solid information. It's just, anyway. Anyway, the beer diet, let's talk about this guy. An Ohio man has given up food for Lent. Because we got Easter coming up next Sunday. So he's going to sustaining himself on a liquid diet consisting of only beer. This is interesting. Very, very interesting. According to the local news outlet, Del Hall's, this is his fourth time doing this, fourth consecutive year sustaining a beer-only diet. And he says it's not about getting drunk. He says he says that this year Lent ends next week on the 14th. He's been on this beer diet ever since the beginning of Lent, and he's lost 25 pounds. Hal's beer-only diet is also raising money for the Ken Anderson Alliance. I'll talk more about that in a minute. Unsurprisingly, the beer-only diet has not received the stamp of approval from most of the medical community. And this was a statement that was put forth by the newspaper. So I'm like, okay, it hasn't received the stamp of approval from most of the medical community. So I want to know who has endorsed it or said good things about it. So Stephen Fagans is the chief clinical officer at Mercy Health Center in Cincinnati. He says, you don't see any books about the beer diet because it's not sustainable. And thankfully, this is a Lent thing and it's not a forever thing. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, excessive drinking can lead to numerous health problems, including damage to liver cells, various cancers, high blood pressure, and psychological disorders. So this guy, I haven't seen a really good interview that I could share or like get, little snippets from. But I guess the dude just survives on beer. I guess you can.
I read a little bit into this. He's not drinking like Miller Lights and stuff like that.
He's drinking heavy ass beer.
Porters.
Yeah,
porters, like stouts and stuff like that. And he says at first, at the first couple days, you drink a little bit, you get your buzz or whatever it is, and after a while, it's just like, hey, one beer, and it's kind of like the whole, what's that, Nutri shake kind of diet kind of thing in the same sense.
Like the NutriBullet diet or whatever they call it?
Yeah, where they just meal replacement shakes for like a couple weeks just to shed weight off. It's pretty much what he's doing because, you look at it like beer, like especially like the stouts and the porters and like the real beer, I'm going to hate to say that, but real beer has a lot of like vitamin B, like riboflavin, carbohydrates. It's just pretty much liquid bread at that point. So all he's doing is just pretty much eating bread for Lent.
Okay, but he's doing it, and this is kind of cool. This is really cool. He's doing it for the Ken Anderson Alliance, and I don't know what the Ken Anderson Alliance is, so I looked it up. The Ken Anderson Alliance is a safe, collaborative community built on kindness and acceptance, where individuals are given a diversity of choice that fosters independence and growth. Ken Anderson Alliance is a 501c3 nonprofit corporation creating live, work, and engage opportunities for adults with disabilities. Their statement is, we believe adults with disabilities have the human and civil right to live, work, engage, socialize, love, learn, and worship in the settings and manner of their choosing, with the support of family and friends. Our work helps provide opportunities to volunteer for special needs, fundraising to help build housing for adults with disabilities, and access to support for jobs for adults with special needs. The organization is located in the Cincinnati area, and you can check them out at kenandersonalliance.org if you are in that area, or if you just want to donate to them, man. Because we're all about supporting our communities. kenandersonalliance.org. So I think that's pretty cool. I think this guy's doing a pretty cool thing.
Ken Anderson, like the Bengals owner of the Bengals?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't sports.
I don't sports. I like sports. I just don't involve my brain around sports and memorizing like records and years and yardages and stuff.
I know from what I'm reading, they do a lot of like help with like Down syndrome, like adults and stuff like that, getting them kind of like settled, working and getting them housing and stuff like that. That's actually pretty legit at that point, huh?
Yeah. Oh, Captain Wayne Baconator shows up. He said, "What's up?
What's up?"
I was going to say something that he's looking good. I'm looking at his profile pic. He's the dude from Goonies.
Oh, hey, you guys.
Yeah. So when I say ride the lightning, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Me is the electric chair, but
okay. A lot of folks would think, okay, Metallica's album, Ride the Lightning, really good, really good album. I love it.
Which is about the electric chair,
right? But no, it's about this lady.
Ooh.
And this kind of doubles as a Florida man story, Florida woman story. Brandy McCowan, age 32, entered a Walmart in Summerfield, located a little bit more than an hour northwest of Orlando, on March 30th. Law enforcement responded to calls of a woman, quote, threatening customers and store employees with a brick and a knife at about 1:30 in the afternoon. So this isn't like a drunken, disorderly midnight shopper at Walmart. This is the middle of the day. As a reward, anyway, police found McCowan in the clothing section of the store brandishing a knife and making incoherent statements. She was instructed to drop the knife, but she refused to comply. As a reward for her noncompliance, Brandy got to ride the lightning. After her 3-second ride, she was disarmed and placed into custody. After the arrest, it was discovered that McCowan had ingested approximately 4 grams of methamphetamine earlier that day. She was taken to the local hospital before being transported to the county jail, and she is charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon without the intent to kill.
Saw that video, and all I got to do is give the police involved with that like a thumbs up, because that was the way they performed that. No, watching the whole video was just amazing at that point.
Okay, I've got a snippet of the entire video. The more that I read about it, at first the officer had his gun.
Firearm out.
He had his firearm out.
But he was by himself. And this thing about, like, people don't know, like, my mom is a CO and she explains this to me all the time. Tasers only work about 40% of the time. So if you by yourself and someone's got a knife and you pull your taser out, you're rolling the dice at that point. Huh? And he waited until he had backup to deploy his taser at that point, which was perfect at that point.
So I've got the video. I'm not sure if the audio is going to work. It looks like it's going to work. I can see levels. I can't hear anything in my ear. So please tell me if this audio worked.
Drop the knife now. Drop the knife.
There it goes. Yeah.
That's just a crazy. That's a crazy, crazy sound that taser makes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it hurts hearing it. I can't imagine getting tased by it. But yeah, I think that police officer did everything right. All the officers involved. But when I was looking at this story, because I heard about the story last night, because I said, yeah, Kaz is going to talk about this, and I hadn't even heard of it yet. So I went in the ops chat, and I'm like, I'm going to need a link to the story. So he provided that, which was cool. But
I follow Marion County's Sheriff's Department's webpage, and they post all kinds of stuff like this, like constantly. So if you want good Florida man stories, just follow Marion County Sheriff Department, because you'll get tons of crazy.
I'll bet it was pretty busy over the spring break.
More towards like Tampa, Miami, the Keys,
the beach areas. Yeah.
Marion County is just, I think it is actually the biggest county in Florida. It's just in the middle of Florida on the west side, and it's just mostly horse farms.
Okay.
That's why you get a lot of that meth, because there's so much land out there. People are just making meth all the time, and you got crackheads and meth heads running all over the place.
That sucks, dude. I don't know how much 4 grams of meth is, but anyway, she allegedly had consumed 4 grams. I guess that's a lot. Obviously, it's a lot. Any amount of meth is a lot.
I'm trying to do the math here real quick. 3, 12. So she, an eighth of an ounce of meth? I think my math is right on that. No? That's insanity at that point, no?
That's nuts. I mean, because if you look at her, it looks like she's been. This wasn't her first time. It looks like she's kind of been doing that for a while.
Wow. She's not a native to Florida, though, from what you said earlier in the story. She had flown into Orlando, right? No?
It happened in Orlando. She might be from there. I think there was a previous Florida story that the people who were arrested were not. They were from like New York, and they did a Florida man thing.
She was probably from Orlando, because I think Orlando's in Polk County or Orange County.
I really hate telling these stories just because this is really unfortunate. I mean, she's in a really bad place, and she's made some really horrible decisions, and she's suffering the consequences. Hopefully she can turn her life around. I just hate, I don't like to, tell stories and get glory from human suffering. It's just, it doesn't feel good to me. So I tend not to do that. That was pretty cool just because of the video. The video was pretty, I mean, she went stiff as a board. And, clean up on aisle 6.
Yeah, them tasers work when they work. And then every now and then you get that one crazy guy on PCP or fentanyl or something like that. And
crazy.
You tase him, and that just doesn't even phase him at that point.
Oh gosh. There was a documentary I saw in, I think it might have been Orlando, but dudes were, it was a documentary on like, was it angel dust?
PCP,
and these guys were just insane, superhuman.
They'll break out of their handcuffs, like legitimately break out of their handcuffs. That's how crazy it is.
Getting tased by multiple officers and still advancing forward, and still not getting shot, but you're on the ground, and these guys, these folks on there, both men and women, anybody I guess on this stuff is just you're not you. So you're saying crazy like a fox? Crazy like a Capitol Hill fox?
Poor guys.
So for a few hours on Tuesday on Capitol Hill, attention turned briefly from the issues of the day to an urgent question. Quote, "Have you seen the Capitol fox?" A reporter yelled at Senator Chuck Schumer, who is the Democrat of New York and the majority leader, as he departed a televised news conference. It was around that time that uniformed animal control officers pulled up outside the Capitol in a white van armed with a net, a catch pole, and a cage in search of a wild fox or foxes. Is that the plural for foxes?
Foxes.
Foxes? That's too easy. It seems wrong. Anyway, it was seen, it was witnessed as being on the Capitol grounds. They were responding to multiple reports of fox sightings around the seat of the American government, where lawmakers, staff members, and reporters had been attacked. Roughly 6 of them had been bitten, according to the Capitol Police at that time, by what appeared to be a red fox that has become something of a celebrity. So yeah, it bit a whole bunch of people. The Washington D.C. Public Health Lab has confirmed that the fox indeed tested positive for the rabies virus. So we just kind of went from bad to worse. Washington D.C. Department of Health said Wednesday in an email that there were 9 confirmed bites by the fox over the past few days, and it had been humanely euthanized so that rabies testing could be performed. I'm like, why? Obviously, it was very, very aggressive, and kind of seems like it would have rabies. I didn't know until today that you needed to be euthanized in order to be diagnosed with rabies.
They have to take brain stem samples or something like that.
Yeah,
so
they got to
actually go in, cut into the brain, and usually that results in death most of the time.
Yeah, you start digging into the head muscle. That kind of does it. Meanwhile, she was a mother. So meanwhile, her kits were found and captured on Wednesday morning, according to city officials. Officials would not disclose where the kits were being kept or whether they were going to be euthanized as well. City health authorities said in an email that they were working to determine the next steps for the kits.
They could vaccinate. I don't know. It depends on how far the disease is at that point. But you can vaccinate. That when you get your rabies shot after you've been bit, pretty much it's a rabies vaccination at that point, huh?
Vaccination. Kind of like the Rona vaccination, but it's a rabies vaccination.
Yeah,
I'll bet you that vaccination works,
shot sucks.
When I was growing up, I heard it's like 20 shots to your abdomen or something. I have no idea. That was just, maybe it was a wives' tale. I have never received any rabies shots.
That is kind of like a wives' tale kind of thing, Yeah, I mean, I think it used to be like way back in the day, maybe. Yeah. But no, it's just don't get bit by wild animals. Just don't do it.
I always see videos. I watch a lot of animal videos, and a lot of those are like foxes. People have a friendly fox in their backyard that comes around and just hangs out, and then they go and do their thing. Others are like fox rescues and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. I like, just awesome. Right there, Heath says that he's got a huge fox in his backyard, best friends with his possum.
I had a possum there for a while that would come up, and a raccoon that would come up. When I was living in Virginia, it would come up. I'd give it food, just here, cool. But I would never let it get anywhere close enough to bite me.
Possums are cool animals, man. They're like, they can't get rabies. They eat like ticks.
They can technically, but it's so rare that it never really happens.
It's like, the honey badger is impervious to like cobra venom.
Like mamba venom, it'll just sleep it off. Honey badger don't care.
So anyway, Mama Fox got put down. Her kits are maybe still alive. Hopefully they hang out with the baby foxes and see if they start exhibiting symptoms, and then maybe set them off into a zoo, or maybe release them into the wild.
Oh, well. The craziest thing, DC, I don't know. You've been to DC before, right?
I've never been to our nation's capital. No, I haven't.
Ooh, okay. Well, the zoo, pretty much, you just walk into it. Just kind of like the museums. You just walk into it. Walking around the zoo, just minding my own business. And I think I'm looking at, I think it was, can't remember what animal it was. I think it was like emus. Something weird. Yeah. And I look over in a corner, and it's like, this seemed like an enclosure to me at first. I was like, why do they have a white-tailed deer enclosure? That makes no sense. This is a zoo. I mean, you could go see white-tailed deer anywhere you want to in Virginia. Oh no, it was in the middle of DC, and it was a wild white-tailed deer just chilling out in the zoo.
Oh, wasn't supposed to be there.
Yeah.
It was just hanging out.
I mean, no, there's deer all through DC.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Just city deer. Yeah. So, I mean, wildlife will move in if you give it a chance.
City deer. Oh, it's like the Estes Park in Colorado. The elk there just kind of run the town, and they have the right of way.
And the squirrels in DC, you don't mess with the squirrels in DC. You don't. They will straight mess you up.
They have squirrel gangs that'll come and get you.
Yeah, you'd be minding your own business, eating your sandwich. Next thing you know, there's like 20 squirrels trying to kill you.
Damn.
They'll have mange and all kinds of weird looking.
No, at least I got some cool looking squirrels here. You know, because in Texas, if you've got a bird feeder, you might as well call it a squirrel feeder. So I've got
same way here.
I've got a
bird feeder and got more squirrels than birds most of the time.
I got a couple of cardinals that hang out, and then I get their families, and I've got a couple of squirrels, and I've got I get this little suet brick that I use, and then I have just regular seed for the birds. But dude, that squirrel jumps up there. He climbs on top of my trash cans, negotiates the distance between wherever he is to the bird feeder, and he jumps. And he just shakes the shit out of that bird feeder until, till whatever he wants is on the ground, and then he gets down, eats whatever he wants, and then he goes away, and then other birds show up and eat the stuff off the ground. So it's like, it's cool. It's cool because I've got motion detectors around there, so I get like a ping on my phone anytime any of these things go off, and so I get that distraction at work with the squirrels or birds or whatever. I think I had woodpeckers.
Yeah, I get woodpeckers all the time.
I really don't think this was a woodpecker, but it was it was brown and white, so maybe it was a juvenile and it was turning brown, and it used to be white or something. But it had this long beak, but it didn't look like it was a. It didn't look like it was like a hard beak, like you would, peck holes into wood. But it had a red stripe on its head. I have no idea what kind of bird this was, but it was hanging out. It was big. It was bigger.
Is it a palliated?
I have no idea. I don't know.
I don't even know if you got. I don't know if you got a palliated wood. I know the birds on my side of the country very well, actually. So you gotta be careful what you're shooting at, because one wrong oops and $50,000 fine and 5 years of jail because you just killed an endangered species. Whoops. So I mean,
yeah, we used to shoot when I lived in Wisconsin when I was a kid. We used to go out and just shoot red-winged blackbirds, and then my buddy accidentally shot a robin, which is the state bird of Wisconsin.
No.
And it was like, oh my God, it was like we just shot the fucking president. So we got on our motorcycles and then rode back to his house, and he's like, don't go, don't open the door. It's like we just did something really fucking illegal. I'm like, what did you do? And he goes, I shot a robin. I'm like, okay. It was an accident. It wasn't an accident. He just didn't have a good sight picture.
Well, we got a very endangered woodpecker in this Fort Bragg, North Carolina area. Piedmont is pretty much the Piedmont region of like North and South Carolina. Mm-hmm. I can't remember the name of the woodpecker, but I mean they'll like cancel like field exercises. They find a woodpecker.
Woody woodpecker. That's the only woodpecker I know. The Woody woodpecker.
Woody the woodpecker is a palliated.
Is he really?
That's what he is. He's a palliated woodpecker.
What does palliated mean? Do you know?
They're just big. They look just like the cartoon. It's the best way to put it. No?
I've seen some videos of a guy that he's like a woodpecker rescue or something, and these are like very friendly woodpeckers, and they're like on his shoulder and on his back and stuff.
I'm working on a red belly right now where I got this all about birds. This is how boring my life is I sit on the back porch and try to call birds in, but. All About Birds has like bird calls, and I've been training this red-bellied woodpecker that when I start playing the sound, that I've put food out, and he'll come fly right up on a deck and grab it. I'm slowly moving the food closer to me so I can actually get him to like land in my hand and take it from me. So I'm working on that.
That's pretty cool. I'd like to see video of that. I'm doing the same thing, but it's with crows, and I've seen a lot of videos where you can befriend crows, and they'll like bring you shit.
Well, crows are smart. Like once they realize that, hey, you're not a threat, they'll know that for a long time.
The thing is, they know that, and then all of their offspring afterwards knows that you're not a threat. So you might start off with 1 or 2, and then you might end up with a buttload of
dozen
of crows in your yard. I don't want to do that necessarily.
I feel like that movie. What was that Alfred Hitchcock movie?
The Birds.
Yeah, the Birds. Where they like walk outside, there's like a million crows just chilling, like staring.
So what do you say? I mean, I'm only through the a very small portion, but I've got to go to the bathroom because of my pre-show dinner disaster. I drank a boatload of water, and I've got to go to the restroom. So we're going to take a break here. It's a 7-minute break. And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about Nancy Pelosi because she's the crypt keeper, Nancy Pelosi. So please hang out with us, and we're going to be back in about 7 minutes-ish, 7 minutes and 20 seconds, doing math on the fly here. So please stay where you are and hang out. And this is Kaz, and that's Pookie, and we're going to be back in just a few minutes. Bye.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
I'm down, down, down to nothing. Feeling alone. I'm lost, lost, lost without you. Since you've been gone. Checked my phone too many times. Played your voice inside my head. Can't dream at night when you're not in my bed. Tossing and turning, burning, yearning for your love. Don't think I don't know where you lie. Don't think you know where I hide. I see you, I see her, I see everything. I see the ugly truth in my dream. You're up, up, up.
John Hancock. It's Herbie Hancock. Duh.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
WTF Nation.
Damn it. Welcome back, everybody. Okay, I was really proud of myself that I remembered to unmute myself at the beginning of the show. That I was so happy about that I forgot to unmute myself coming out of the break. So anyway, we're back, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us. My name is Kaz, and that's Spooky. I was talking about, before I unmuted myself, the music that we use is all by permission from artists, most of which are veterans. Roses Unread, I don't think anybody's a veteran there, but they're friends of the show. Red Leg brought them into the fold, and so the music that you heard, that was the song called The Ugly Truth, and that's from Roses Unread. And then there's Assuming We Survive. That song was Open Water. Adrian Estrella, who is the lead man for Assuming We Survive, is an Army veteran. He's a UH-60 mechanic, and that dude can sing. So go and check them out. Assuming We Survive, Roses Unread. We got tons of music that we do use. All the stuff that we use is done by permission, and it's pretty awesome that people want to support us as a station. It's really hard to play good music and not get a copyright strike. You get too many of those, and all of a sudden you're not broadcasting anymore. So it's really good. It's really good to have the permission of the artists to play their music. Anyway, we're back with the second half, and I guess we can jump right in it, because we're going to talk about the Crypt Keeper, Nancy Pelosi. It was really weird because during the, oh my gosh, right before the break, I mentioned the word Nancy Pelosi, and then our viewership shot up like 20. Right before I went to the break, and I talked about Nancy Pelosi, and I'm saying this multiple times, so maybe an algorithm can check it out. Nancy Pelosi. The viewership, it was just really weird because it went from a number and then it jumped like 27, and then it went back down to what it normally was. So
we find that
we're
one key phrase. One key phrase is to say every like 5 minutes.
No kidding. I could be in the middle of a story about orphans in Azerbaijan and just saying Nancy Pelosi. Just to bring in the NSA into the fold. Maybe we can get some fans out of the NSA or whomever, the CIA, the DIA.
Taxation is theft. See if that shoots.
Taxation is theft. Oh my gosh, we have no more viewers. What the hell? So I legitimately, I am going to tell a story here about Speaker Nancy Pelosi, China. And this has a lot to do with China. China warned on Thursday that it would take strong measures if the United States House of Representatives Speaker Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan, and said that such a visit would severely impact Chinese-U.S. relations. As if they're not stressed already. But anyway, China said that. China considers democratically ruled Taiwan as its own territory, and is a subject and constant and a constant source of friction between Beijing and Washington, especially given strong U.S. military and political support for the island. So Nancy Pelosi announces, well, her people, she doesn't announce shit. Nancy Pelosi's people in the White House announced that, okay, Pelosi's going to Taiwan. China throws a shit fit, saying, no, we don't want that, and says things like, such a visit would severely impact Chinese-U.S. relations. Okay. And then later on, that same morning, Nancy Pelosi's camp released a statement that says, Nancy Pelosi has tested positive for COVID. She's asymptomatic. Thank you for all the many kind wishes. She is grateful for them. So I guess she's not going to Taiwan, at least for now, right? It's kind of funny how that story worked out. I don't.
It's like, can we make this shit up anymore?
I mean, really? And you say clown world. It's almost comical how things happen. Maybe this is coincidence. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt and say it's just coincidence.
You watch NCIS ever?
Man, a long time ago.
Like,
I'm not current.
What's his name? Gibbs, the older guy that was in charge of everything, would always say, "There's no."
The Kevin Costner looking guy.
Yeah,
Mark Harmon. Was that Mark Harmon?
I think, yeah. He'd always say, "There's no such thing as a coincidence," and I'm like, I agree with him. There's no such thing as a coincidence.
So yeah, it's just a little bit. It's a little bit more than coincidental that Chinese, they announced a visit. All of a sudden, Pelosi tests positive, allegedly, and then, of course, she has to cancel her trip.
And thank the vaccine for keeping her safe.
I think in the story that I read, I didn't grab the text from that. I think she's been vaxxed 4 times.
It kept her safe though.
It kept her out of the hospital, and that's the fire back from that. Hey, I still got vaxxed, but I still got sick. Did you go to the hospital? Well, no. Well, it's because you got vaxxed. No, this is not like a post hoc ergo propter hoc bullshit. You can't say because of this, then this.
It's like, I got that scar on my arm from the smallpox. Okay, cool. I got the smallpox vaccine. Still got smallpox, but I'm glad I got the vaccine.
Dude, I don't know, man. If I would get and you hear this a lot. If you take the polio vaccine and still get polio, you're going to be pissed off. But the polio vaccine actually works. Your flu shot, I guess the same argument is made for that. Yeah, you might get it, but it's not going to be debilitating. It's not going to be as bad. Then we get the UP. Oh my gosh, did you see this? There was a reporter. I forget where she's from. She got fired, but she said that Kamala Harris. She was wearing like a brown suit. And she looked like the UPS lady. She said that she looked like the UPS lady, and then she says, "What can brown do for you?" Well, apparently nothing, and she got canned. She got shit canned. Oh,
what?
Yeah. She was wearing it was a really ugly brown suit. Whoever wears a brown suit, male, female, I don't care, dude. No. Just no. You look like a couch.
I can pull off the brown look with the
brown or tan.
The Carhartt, like that
Carhartt brown is fine. Yes. But this is like poop brown. This is dark brown.
Oh, I got you.
This is like brown. And Holly says lots of healthy people are having like massive heart attacks lately.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. It sucks because I'm a member of the triple vax crew. Well, because it was like my job depended on it, so I had to.
Yeah. I was reading somewhere along the lines of like hepatitis cases have been increasing too.
Really? It's going to be it's going to be really, really interesting. Like in 5 or 10 years to look back at the trend between 2019 and 2025 or 2028 and see what trends have been helping. You need time in order to do these type of statistical things. But yeah, it's going to be, oh my gosh, doo-doo 3-piece. She looked really bad.
I'm looking at it now.
It really looked bad.
It looked like, oh, I don't want to say that. I won't say that on.
Say it really low, like whisper.
Like Third Reich kind of like suit, kind of looking. You know, what's his name?
Are you talking about the brown suit from? Brown suit, brown shirts, World War II. Anyway, I think the reason that lady, I forget her name, and I don't want to search it because I don't have Twitter on any of my computers here for a reason. And my phone's in the other room. But she said she looks like a UPS worker. And then she says, "What can Brown do for you?" Apparently nothing. And then she ended up getting fired for that statement because it appeared to be like racially insensitive. So I looked it up and I'm like, back UPS used to have a slogan. Their company slogan was, "What can Brown do for you?" And they dumped it, or they didn't dump it. They changed their slogan in like 2010. So if you go to Google and you type in "What can Brown do for you?" like UPS slogan, UPS goes through lots of slogans, but "What can Brown do for you?" was a staple slogan for them for a while. And I don't know the reason. Maybe the reason they changed is because of the racial insensitivity. But meh.
Who knows?
So
you mentioned Twitter, and now I'm on Twitter.
Oh no! Don't do that.
Trying to be a good co-host here and look things up for you. And I was
do that. I mean, seriously.
I got straight stage 4 brain cancer almost instantly.
Oh God!
The posts I read, I was like, no, I'm done with this. I can't do it. Elon Musk better fix this shit quick. That's all I can say.
I think that is such an awesome thing. He's just like, fuck it. I'm gonna buy 10%. So he's now the majority, like a single person, like an entity shareholder in Twitter.
All you know about is the 10%. He might have purchased more of it because isn't him and Dorsey kind of like buddies?
I don't know.
But they were kind of like frenemies, kind of like cool with each other, kind of thing, Like,
well, even I know that they came together, and even Dorsey, God, he looks homeless, dude. He looks homeless. He looks really. I don't know. Dorsey's probably.
It'd be like me running a company.
Well, if you look at what's his name, and we're going to tell his story in a little bit. Vitalik Buterin. That guy is like one of the richest people in the world, and he's a kid, and he's not
Coinbase guy. Or
Ethereum. He's the one of the co-founders of Ethereum. Just I don't judge people on their looks, but you look at him, you're just like, oh, and then you're like, oh. When you look at them and you go, oh. And then you hear about their story and you go, oh.
It's like
everybody does that. Everybody does that. Everybody profiles. Everybody does this. You get this first impression of people and you're just like, oh my gosh. And then you hear their story and you're like, oh my gosh.
I had a teacher like way back in the day when I was going grade school, talking about Bill Gates and like the difference between a billionaire and a millionaire. So you see a millionaire, he's running around a suit, driving a Ferrari, all this craziness. Bill Gates, on the other hand, is walking around blue jeans, sneakers, like New Balance sneakers and a T-shirt, not caring. Because he's like, who do I go to impress?
I'm worth Elon Musk
12 times more than you.
That the woman that Elon Musk was married to or dated or they were cohabitants or whatever.
Had a kid with,
she's given like statements going that dude's got billions of dollars, but he lives like he works at Walmart.
And
there's nothing wrong with that.
That's I always used to joke. I always used to joke to myself, if I ever hit it big on a lottery, like half $1 billion, I'd move into a trailer park somewhere and just disappear into the trailer park. Just blend in with everyone else. I've got billions of dollars. A trailer will do me good. I don't have to work the rest of my life at this point.
So Jay Williams says he's a fuckwit. I'm thinking that he's talking about Vitek Buterlin. I feel like I'm saying like a drug name. Vitalik Buterin. No, he's autistic. I think he's autistic, but he's just got a knack for numbers. He was encouraged by his dad.
Elon Musk is autistic, I think.
He is as well. Yes, but he was encouraged. He was encouraged by his dad to quit college and just do his thing with Bitcoin. And he did his thing with Bitcoin, and then he made up Ethereum, or he was a co-founder of Ethereum. So he's not that much of a fuckwit.
I really wish I would have jumped on that whole crypto thing when it first started. Like
right.
When Bitcoin was like a penny a piece.
Right.
Ooh.
There's a show on Netflix. I think I brought this up last week. Don't Trust Anybody. It was about the Bitcoin thing. Really super good. Really good. It was almost anticlimactic at the end, but
I think my mother was watching that.
It's really
like a
really good.
Series. Like a docuseries?
No, it's like an hour and a half or so. Really good. Really good.
She mentioned something. I think she watches some weird stuff. I mean, then again, I had the family sit down and watch Apocalypse Now, and none of them understood it. So I was just like, oh, okay, well, we got different tastes in cinematics.
Oh my God, that is such a good movie. Every once in a while, I'll go back and I'll like rewatch Apocalypse Now or the redo.
Yeah, the Redux.
The Redux is awesome.
Like 4 hours long, almost. I forgot how long it was, and it was like, when is this movie gonna end? When's this movie gonna?
You get all. It's like all of the director cuts bullshit is like enveloped in it, and it's so beautiful.
It's a great movie, but everyone else in the house was like, "This movie sucked." I was like, "Well, then you definitely don't want to watch Clockwork Orange with me next."
So Holly says, "Didn't Elon just buy a shit ton of stock in Twitter?" Yes, he did. He just like kind of wrote a check for. Whatever covers 10% of Twitter.
Technically, he could have bought more, and it still wouldn't have even hit his bottom end at that point.
Oh, he probably could have bought the entire damn thing. With all the success.
Did you see that tweet though that he put out? Like it was like kind of like a poll.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and I did. I chose an answer.
Yeah, well, he at the bottom, like he replied to his poll. It's like, be serious with this because this will have serious consequences. And then a day later, he said, "Seize the memes of production."
Oh gosh,
is what he said. He said that, seize the memes of production.
This dude's brilliant. This guy is brilliant, dude. I would love. Okay, Elon. I do work in aviation, and I could probably do a lot of good for you in SpaceX. You gotta pay your engineers more. I'll move down to Waco, bro. Hit me up, bro.
I mean, if he needs mad scientists to come up with crazy ideas, I mean, hit me up because I come up with some crazy crap all the time. So,
the thing is, I make whatever the mad scientist says. Hey, I want something that does something like this. I can make that. If you tell me kind of what you want, I can make it. I can't finish my fucking house, but I can make whatever the fuck you want me to make.
Oh, I love engineers, and I love engineers, and I hate them in the same sense because as a mechanic, I'm a mechanic brain kind of. So when I go to work on shit, I'm like, why the fuck did the engineer do this shit? While working on it, I was like, this makes absolutely no sense.
You know what's cool is I work in an environment where I get these pass downs going, make this, and then I have a good enough relationship with the engineers. I can go back and go, dude, let's try to change this out. And you don't want to do it this way. You want to do it this other way because we've done this before. And these guys are young and they're super smart. And they're like, okay, I'll get back to you in a couple of hours, maybe a day. Okay. And they have to have a meeting about this and they discuss their engineer things. And then they get back to me and like, okay, that's a good idea. Do it that way. And I get that more often than not. And I really appreciate that. And it's not because I'm going to pitch a bitch. If they don't choose my idea, that's fine. That's totally fine. I'll make it however you want to, because that's what you pay me for.
I just wish more engineers would be like grab a mechanic up and be like, fix this for me real quick. And here's how you fix it, and let the mechanic work on it until the engineers are like, hey, you screwed up here. This is impossible to work on. Because I've worked on some vehicles. I'm like, who was the engineer behind this? I thought this was such a great idea that I have to take the whole front suspension off to get to the oil pan.
What I think engineers ought to do is go, here's something that's broke, fix it, and then they sit and watch them fix it without saying a word. Just take notes. Just take notes. Just take notes. So for folks looking for another job, I know we have a lot of truck drivers. We have a lot of truck drivers in our audience. Appreciate you. Thank you very much for your service. You kind of keep this country running. I mean, a lot. If the truck drivers stopped doing shit, then we would suffer major consequences. But if anybody's looking for, if you got a CDL and you're looking for a new job, you know what? Walmart is probably one of the better places to look right now. Because I'm going to go to this little slide here. Walmart is increasing the pay of its offer that it gives to truck drivers in its private fleet to $110,000 in their first year on the job. The nation's biggest retailer said on Thursday in a blog post that drivers with previous experience working with the company can earn even more based on their tenure and location. Walmart has about 12,000 workers that drive its company-owned vehicles. So the entirety of Walmart, there's about 12,000 drivers that supply the United States, the entire country, with things and stuff. I'm going to caveat that by saying from China. But anyway, they're going to pay their drivers extremely well. Walmart said that prior to this increase, the average salary for new drivers was $87,500 in their first year. It also said it hired about 4,500 truck drivers last year, the most in its history. A quote from Walmart, "We will continue to hire based on the need to support growth of our business. They will also pay for a driver's cost of earning commercial driver's license, which is about $4,000 to $5,000.
So not only will they train you, they'll pay you.
They'll pay you.
And you said
$110,000 a year. Okay.
Well, that's the first year, though, right? They're just a caveat.
That's what I saw. The first year. And I'm like, okay, what is it? Do you revert back to 87.5 after that? Is this like a signing bonus? I don't know. I have no idea. Walmart's recruitment push comes as our country faces a shortage of truck drivers, which is worsening the supply chain snags and making it harder to get products onto store shelves. President Biden on Monday announced a plan to recruit more veterans and women to the trucking industry. So, if you are a CDL holder or whatever, you can go to drive and the number 4 Walmart.com to apply for this job.
Yeah, I just heard something you just said right there that kind of triggered me a little bit.
Okay, what is it?
Forever and a day, I don't know if they changed it or not, but this is my old school knowledge of it. It's like you could be like an 88 Mike in the Army, which is a truck driver.
Okay.
And you are trained how to drive a big rig pretty much. When you would get out of the military, your military experience did not equate to a CDL. You'd have to go and research.
After being an 88 Mike, an actual truck driver.
Driving a up armored Peterbilt in a combat zone, your CDL, I don't know if they changed it or not. I don't know if that's if they had finally fixed it, because I know a lot of the 88s were complaining about that. Whereas I go through school, I spend 5 years in the military driving a truck for the military, and now all of a sudden I got to recertify.
Do 88 mics have to keep a logbook? Maybe that's a part of it.
I mean, well, you got your little green dispatch book. I mean, that's a logbook.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
easily forged.
You want to disable a U.S. Army vehicle? All you got to do is
take the green book out. All right, you got your dispatch. Where's your logbook? I don't know. All right, you can't take this fucker out.
But I mean, it was kind of ridiculous because like these certifications in the military weren't equating over because Department of Transportation's regulations were just insane. Now I'm just speaking from what I've heard. I don't know if this is true or not, but I know a couple of my buddies that were 88 mics complained about that when they got out. It's like I have to go and recertify to learn how to drive a truck.
That's
I'm
nuts.
like what?
But they got the leg up because they got the experience, and you just check that box, go through all the hoops, and you do it. So Walmart said that people can also. Okay, I'm just going to reread that line. Drive the number 4 Walmart.com to apply for that job. The latest investments mean Walmart drivers can now make up to $110,000 in their first year with the company, which is awesome. That's really enticing. I don't know what a truck driver normally does. It seems to me that they would take off out of Memphis or wherever they're located in Arkansas, and they would make runs. They would go from there to another city and then sleep back the next day. I don't know how much of that money is on them. If you own your own truck, you'd probably make more. And then there's probably a shell game of money going on there. They're not just going to, cut you a check for, $4,000 a month, $5,000 a month.
I'm seeing this page, Zabella. I don't know what it is. It's like a career expert page or whatever it is that are kind of giving a truck driver salary, the average. And I don't know if this is all of them combined or like cross country or just like local truck drivers, but the average salary for a truck driver is around $28 an hour or $29 an hour, rounded up.
Okay, that's less than $70,000 a year.
60, around $60,000 a year.
Yeah.
The top 90 percentile makes around $90,000 a year. So they're just. So what they're saying is the first year we're going to pay you a bunch, but then you're going to go back to You're going
to go back to the 87,000 norm.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad. But how much of that are you driving a Walmart tractor, or are you got to supply your own rig? And if Walmart's providing you a rig, do you pay it down? So you're going to make $87,000 a year, but you're going to pay $20,000 a year just in the leasing of this vehicle.
I got a friend of the family. He spent his entire life as a truck driver, and he made his most money when he owned his own rig and he was doing his own contracts, pretty much.
Yeah, but you got those side costs of upkeep, and so it's that level of risk. What are you willing to take to become a Walmart
for a fleet? And if you're driving for a fleet, you don't have to worry about maintenance costs, and then all you got to do is make sure your logbooks are good and you're not getting any accidents.
Right. So to be a Walmart driver, applicants must have some qualifications under their belt. The company requires that the drivers have an interstate Class A commercial driver's license with a hazmat endorsement or receipt of hazmat endorsement within 120 days of being hired. Job candidates must also have a clean driving record with no serious traffic or moving violation offenses within the last 3 years. That's pretty reasonable. Walmart screens for DUI, DWI, OUI, or reckless driving involving alcohol or drug convictions within the last 10 years, as well as issues such as been preventable by the road. What the fuck does that mean? I don't know. Anyway, don't do drugs and don't drink while you're on the job.
take it back to the 70s and 80s where all the truck drivers were high on meth or amphetamines of some sort trying to just drive.
The thing is now with the way that they regulate truckers, you have to have so much, it's like being on an air crew. I was on an air crew. You have to have so much crew rest. So many driving hours, so many rest hours. You can't be an extremely tired driver on the road. Whatever you do with your off time is your thing.
Makes sense to me, but I mean, could we possibly be over-regulating our transportation industry at that point?
I don't know. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, man.
Because I've heard a lot of truck drivers complaining about like half of their time is stuck in like shipping and receiving, and the receivers they don't get fined for holding these guys up, but it holds their logbooks up. They're so they could be just sitting there sleeping in their cab waiting for some asshole to unload their load.
Correct.
That is on their books at that point as time on job.
And that's when you mix up with union and non-union type of memberships. It's like even being a member of the flight crew, you have so many mission hours, and then you have rest, crew rest. Crew rest is whenever you step foot off of the aircraft. Not air traffic controllers, but flight attendants. They get paid when their wheels up. When that door's locked and their wheels up, that's when they start getting paid. They get paid a really great salary, but it's only when their wheels up and they're gone. There's so many other.
As soon as they land on the ground, they're not getting paid anymore.
Maybe when the door opens after they land.
Okay, I get you.
But then up until the time that the door closes and then their wheels up, then they start getting paid. They only get paid when they travel. The hourly.
I can understand some of the like aviation regulations, but if you're like applying it to a truck driving sector, like I said, shipping and receiving, a lot of truck drivers will tell you they get screwed over because I'll get fined if I go over my logbooks trying to make my
and you might even go over your logbook hours waiting in line to get unloaded to go to the hotel and take a nap.
But there's no fine for the receivers at that point. Like they could take their good old time and waste valuable hours. This guy could be I say guy in general, but this truck driver could be making their shipments at this point. Huh? So,
when we say that guy or this guy, we're talking about, it's like calling you dude. This is completely. It doesn't mean male, female. It's just everyone's a dude.
I'm sorry. I grew up in a generation where it's like, hey, dude or dudette. Like that's me at that point. Like.
So Branko says, is a medical card necessary? I don't know what that means. If you could clarify what that means. What is a medical card?
It's probably maybe like a medical clearance to drive trucks, because I know like the fly an airplane, you got to get like what, a physical like every 3 months or something crazy.
Yes.
Something like crazy.
Yes.
Like that.
Commercial. I have no idea. I think it's like every 6 or 8 months for like just a regular pilot to just be current. 6 months or a year. 6 months or a year.
I was watching. Speaking of aviation, I was watching a really good. It was a YouTube guy who was talking about how they're talking about getting rid of the college requirement in order to fly, and a lot of the pilots were kind of like, well, I don't know about this. And if you could, this experience wise, like you log your hours. So I get out of high school and start flying like a Cessna or something, or learn how to get my license flying a Cessna, and I get the hours built up, and I should at one point be able to fly commercial, right?
No. You'd have to start with a Cessna, then go to maybe a dual engine, like a turboprop, and then a jet, and then you can go into the big boy realm. You need to have ratings. You need to earn your ratings. You need to earn your ratings, and it doesn't matter whether you can fly a fucking Cessna and talk about history, or fly a fucking 737 with passengers and talk about, fucking the economy or whatever, because that's all that college gives you is a well-rounded, you get your English and math is very necessary as far as being a pilot, but history and it's all the other psychology bullshit that has nothing to do with actually putting your hands on a stick and flying an airplane.
Well, I know there is a pilot shortage right now in the United States. It's coming up. There's going to be a massive pilot shortage in the United States.
Really?
Yeah, look, I mean, you're an aviation guy. I just follow it just because it interests me, because I've always been interested in the whole, it's a hobby thing for me, and I pay attention to a lot of news, and a lot of these older pilots are saying that, hey, we're going to be facing a pilot shortage because of over-regulation at this point.
That seems legit to me. It really does.
The fact that most kids, don't. Like, I grew up, I wanted to be a pilot until I found out I was colorblind. I was like, well, that goes out the window.
I'm thinking the entire nation, our entire nation, actually the entire world can be run by people who go to trade school to learn how to do things and stuff, and then those who go to college to learn how to be doctors. And college is really important for that. Yeah.
I mean, technically, doctorate, learning medicine is like a trade school for doctors at that point, if you think about it.
It's a trade school for doctors, but to actually learn how to, make an incision or to be a brain surgeon or something. Yeah, I would appreciate if my doctor or my dentist or my whatever the fuck, it has gone to college and has an in-depth knowledge of my disease or my ailment and can solve that. Everyone else,
different than a welder that goes to a trade school and knows, like, hey, these metals won't fuse together under this temperature because they want to. It's the same concept.
Yeah, but it has nothing to do with your life.
Well, I mean, you're driving over a bridge and all of a sudden the welds fall out, and then
then that has a whole lot to do with your life. I get it. I guess this is a good caveat into Darwin.
Oh,
my God. Oh, number 8. Where are you? Okay. Charles Darwin. Everyone knows who that guy is. The small leather bound books that are worth many, many millions of dollars that include the scientist's Tree of Life sketch have been returned. Their return comes 15 months after the BBC first highlighted that they had gone missing in a library launched a worldwide appeal to recover them. So this is like a notebook from Charles Darwin. I keep a notebook. I got
notebooks all over the place. All over the place. If I have an idea, I write it down. This is the way I've always been.
I don't know. Tell me if this is you. I've had a notebook that I started, and I'm like, dude, this fucking is stupid, and I throw it away. The entire notebook, stupid.
I keep I still think I've got this Green Army issue, like a whole library of my entire military career that I've ideas that have popped in my head or notes that I've taken. I've kept the catalog of it. And
Holy
you
shit.
never know. Like one day I'm like 1,000 years down the road, they'll look into this crazy Army private has some crazy ideas. These are legit, Picasso was famous, near the end of his life, but his paintings are worth more now that he's dead. So
I get embarrassed by some of my ideas. I'm like, this is stupid, and then I fucking throw it away. I'm like, I rip the pages out. So I've got a notebook and it's got like 20 missing pages, 100 intact pages, but 20 missing pages.
See, I fold the pages. If I don't like it, I'll fold it down. Like if I got like your regular like this, like little regular notebook like that, I'll fold the page down and fold it into a triangle. I was like, this is useless, and I'll just leave it in there. I never rip anything out. I never delete anything.
So
notebooks.
Holly says, I have 3 boxes full of my my granny's journals. At one day, I'll start to read them. The thing is, I really wish that I had something to read from my grandparents like that. All of my grandparents, either they immigrated to the United States, either from Germany or from like Poland. And I really wish that I had something like that.
I got an uncle in my family. We call him like the family librarian, and he has collected like every kind of anything you can think of about our family and stored it. He's made a massive like genealogical library in his house.
I feel
huge library.
I feel really bad because I was the guy in the family that was collecting all of the information from everyone from my grandparents to my great grandparents, and I had this entire elaborate family tree built up, and I just let that opportunity go. Other things came up in life, and other things were more important, and I let that slide. I have no idea if I even have a record of that. I know I've got the software, but I don't know.
I've traced my family back to my dad's side of the family, his mother's side of the family to Germany. I found a gravestone of my like great grandfather or whatever it was. It was nuts. I was doing a research on it was insane. It took me probably about like 6 months doing it, and that's the furthest family member I could trace back at that point.
But imagine being like Darwin. Everyone knows who Darwin is now.
Yes.
And then finding what the deal was this notebook was in a museum, and then it went missing after someone like requisitioned this to be photographed, and it was never returned, or no one logged the return or whatever. So it was lost for 15 months, more than a year. And then all of a sudden it was returned. And there was a stupid note that says, like Darwin's notebook, and it says, you're welcome. And then it was signed X.
Yeah. I got a weird conspiracy theory that I thought about when I first read this story. I was like, this sounds like the greatest art heist or history heist of all time.
Like you replaced it with an exact duplicate?
With 15 months of me just sitting there, do you think I couldn't just make a fake set and give it back to the museum and keep the originals and then sell
keep the original, but then change certain things.
Yes.
Like, damn, Darwin was right about this, and this is going to fuck up society, so I'm going to change this X to a Y.
Or not even that, just make an exact replica of the journals.
Or change it enough to alter the future. Ooh.
Oh, that too. I'm just thinking of art heist, just make an exact replica and then give the library the fakes, keep the originals for myself, and then go on the black market and say, hey, I got Darwin's original notebooks, and sell them for the millions they're worth at that point. Huh?
Oh man, but you're setting yourself up for, and even if you do that on the black market, on the dark web,
someone's gonna mention something.
Someone's gonna mention something.
Hey, you know what? Here in the next 6 months, when you say, hey, those ones aren't the real ones, and the real ones are floating around. Coming from me, the crazy guy.
So the manuscripts were seen in November of 2000 after an internal request to remove them from the library's special collections storage room to be photographed. It was only during a routine check 2 months later that they were found to be missing. That's fucked up. They have such shitty security at the museum. Initially, librarians thought that they had put it back in the wrong place in the vast university library, which contains more than 10 million books, maps, and manuscripts.
I would get lost. I would starve to death or something.
I want to examine all of that shit for like Tesla stuff or other things.
The funny part about it is most of Tesla's stuff is probably sitting in like DARPA or whatever government agency, because I know when he passed away, the government like pretty much
they swept in and took all of his shit.
Took everything. So
so speaking of conspiracies, let's talk about the UFOs. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Them aliens that are running everything.
The Sun, the periodical The Sun, submitted a FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, for files and reports and videos related to the U.S. government's Advanced Aviation Threat Identification Program, or the ATIP, 4 years later, they finally got a response. 4 years later, the DIA released 1,500 documents. Finally, after more than 4 years, the DIA has released all of these documents. This includes government commissioned scientific reports and letters to the Pentagon regarding the UFO program. I'm really having a hard time reading this because it's in British, and there's like program, PROGAMME.
Oh, you can't read original English?
I can't read British, the Queen's English. The Hall includes reports into research on the, check this out, biological effects of UFO sightings on humans. Sets out as categorizations for paranormal experiences and studies into the sci-fi style tech. The DIA, I should have edited this. This is really hard to read. The DIA,
whole class on how to read it.
Oh my gosh, this is so fucking horribly written.
It's the sun.
Some of the information, okay, I just read this and I'm going to surmise it in my head. Some of the information in part has to be redacted because it's going to cause some shit. But the agency added that the DIA has not withheld any reasonably segregable, non-exempt portions of the records. So all the inert type of information is there. All the non-inert stuff is still getting redacted, let's say. The bombshell FOIA includes reports that the DIA's research into the biological effects of UFO sightings on humans has, this includes burns, heart problems, sleep disturbances, and even bizarre occurrences such as apparent abduction and unaccounted for pregnancy. The report noted that often injuries are related to electromagnetic radiation and links them to energy-related propulsion systems. Okay. Here I'm trying to buy this. I really want to buy this. In the report, prepared for the DIA warns that such objects may be a threat to the United States' interests, but we release them anyway. Humans have been found to have been injured from exposures to anomalous vehicles, especially airborne, when in close proximity. Next thing you know, and you're going to see this on my graphic here, Joe Rogan jumped on this. He says, he says, I'm pregnant.
See, when you said that, I kind of had a look on my face like, wait, unaccountable pregnancies?
Joe Rogan picked up on that, and within a couple of hours of the release, he's like, oh, I'm pregnant. So anyway, ATIP was a secretive Pentagon program that ran between 2007 and 2012. This is fucked up because the government has had UFO like teams and stuff that go back to the 60s.
I mean, the Pentagon even came out and said, UFOs are a thing.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of skimmed over that because, COVID was a thing at that point.
Project, what was that Air Force Project Blue Book?
I'm not sure about that one.
So anyway, this new thing was outed by intelligence official turned whistleblower Luis Elizondo, who actually headed up the program back in 2017. So toward the tail end of this UFO program, he was the head of it, and he was the whistleblower.
Oh, I'm on the FBI's webpage, and apparently there is a whole thing called Project Blue Book, and you can download it. Even though you get this massive warning saying that if you click anything on our website, you agree to monitoring. So I'm backing out of that real quick.
Get on the VPN, bro.
No.
Holly says, I just want to drive a UFO. I don't feel like I'm asking too much. You know what? You got a point.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Like especially like me. Like I love helicopters. I hate flying them. I love airplanes. I hate flying them. But to get into like an extraterrestrial, like where I could just like zip straight up and all over the place and go in the ocean and do whatever.
Like physics, fuck you. I'm doing this.
Yeah. Like fuck you, physics. I'm gonna go to the moon in 2 seconds. You know, like yeah.
Jing, jing. I'm back. That was awesome. I feel like I was gone for 4 months. No, man, you were gone for like 38 seconds.
Yeah, the aliens be like, here, you can borrow the keys to the ride for, you know, they never see those keys again.
So since we're talking about aliens, let's talk about Mark Zuckerberg. Meta.
I'm eating meats. I'm eating all the meats.
And I have barbecue sauce holding up my books.
That man's so disconnected from reality at this point.
This guy has no idea. So Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, is reportedly planning to introduce a virtual currency to its apps. According to a report on Tuesday by the Financial Times, employees have internally dubbed the virtual currency as Zuckbucks. This hasn't been released, but everyone inside the company are calling it Zuckbucks. The currency is reportedly unlikely to be a form of crypto based on blockchain. Instead, Zuckbucks are more likely to work as simple in-app tokens, similar to Robux or Fortnite's V-Bucks, according to the Financial Times. The new project comes after the Meta left behind Diem as its troubled cryptocurrency project earlier this year. I hadn't heard of Diem. Have you heard of that?
Nope. If it's got Facebook attached to it, I ain't dealing with it.
Right. A Meta spokesperson from the company said continuously consider new products. As a company, we are focused on building for the metaverse, and that includes what payments and financial services might look like. What? Why? Why is this fictional? And that's why I don't understand cryptocurrency and NFTs. I think I have an opinion on NFTs. NFTs are more like a, and this is my opinion, NFTs, non-fungible tokens, are more like it's kind of like what a, can't think of this now. It's not a Just Fans, but it's like a Patreon. An NFT is like a Patreon for a specific target. You can point your fingertip and this is what your money goes towards, and point, and that's what your money goes towards, that NFT. So it's a fundraiser for a specific thing. I really don't understand what else is going on.
The NFT to me is kind of like a branding kind of thing, where it's like a Nike, right? People will pay $300 for a pair of Nike shoes. Why? Because it's Nike. NFTs kind of work the same way, where it's like you've got that what is it, the Mad Ape or the crazy whatever it is, where you get like access to like a specific Discord and a yacht club and all that if you own one. Or whereas I think the basketball, NBA,
okay,
they're doing like if you own an NFT, like Kobe doing a dunk, whatever, went for like a couple $1 million. you now own permanent seats to whatever game. You know, that to me makes sense because I own this specific bit of a blockchain. Now I have access to this specific set of life at this point. But
so you're buying your way into a lifestyle, or a group of friends.
Yeah, that's just pretty much the way it seems to me at this point. Is just like the ones who are getting on it earlier, getting early access to things that maybe 10 years down the road, and we're like, oh man, I really would have wished I bought that stupid looking duck token because now I can go shopping for free at, you know, my local food line or something like that.
Okay,
you
so
know,
the way that I'm kind of seeing this, okay, let's say if U.S. Army WTF Moments has an NFT or WTF Nation Radio, and this is more reasonable, WTF Nation Radio has an NFT, and you sell this for whatever. You invest yourself, and you are saying, okay, I believe in this product. I'm gonna throw my money at it, and then we become super huge. Then you're gonna get rewards on your investment.
Yes.
So you believe in something, so you invest money towards it.
Like
we don't have an NFT. We don't have an NFT. So
well, it's like stock market 2.0 is what it is.
It's a different. It's a different. Well, it's another level of the chess game.
Yeah, well, I mean, when people were talking about, I don't know if you ever heard of Web 3.0.
Yes.
This is the beginning of Web 3.0. Is the NFTs, because like essentially it's like stock holdings, share holdings, or whatever it is. And like, here's the crazy part about an NFT is you can program it into the blockchain to where anytime it sells, you get a small percentage of that sale. So if I made a piece of art that everyone wanted to get their hands on and started selling, I'd be like, every time it sells, I get like percentage or a percentage of it. Every time it sells, I'm getting money off of it. To me, it sounds like a pyramid scheme.
Oh, yeah, and it probably is.
To me, it sounds like me.
It's a pyramid scheme at a micro level, so you don't realize the pain or the gain
until
it's too late.
But then again, I've heard some really big business focused people talking about NFTs as legitimate as like a new stock market, where it's a decentralized stock market. You know? So these corporations come out like say the NBA, where I'm selling Kobe doing a dunk and I get free tickets for the rest of my life as long as I hold this, you know. And one of those, like, it could be a specific seat. So all right, well, I got this seat for the rest of my life. And I don't go to the Lakers games or whatever it is, and so I'm just gonna sell it, and whoever's the biggest bidder, I make money off of it. You know, because I bought it early, now I'm selling it where it's worth more, and whoever
so your ass isn't in the seat; it's just your seat, and you're leasing it.
My seat.
You're leasing it,
pretty much.
That's fucking brilliant. It really, it really is brilliant.
The only way NFTs will really work is if I see the gaming industry, and I know this is more of like a CQ kind of thing. Gaming and stuff like that, but a lot of these games are starting to like look at NFTs as a viable thing. It's like you look at Fortnite, for instance. There's certain skins and stuff that you.
But it's buy. Like in-game tokens. That's all it is, and that's what my kids got into.
But these in-game tokens say if they transfer to every other game.
Yeah, they did.
So I could have the epic bow of whatever from one game, and I could just be like, oh, I'm gonna take this and bring this into this game, and now I have the epic bow of this, and it makes this whole game broken. I'm the best player, and then I'll be like, well, I'm gonna sell this.
Or it's like you're doing something here in this other game, but then all of a sudden you're in Assassin's Creed and you have a 50 caliber fucking sniper rifle.
Yeah,
sniper rifle.
You ever see that movie Ready Player One?
Yes.
Best way to break down NFTs at that point. You know, at the end where like they're pulling out like, I've got Mechagodzilla, or I've got a Gundam, and I've got this and I got that, and they're all battling each other because they're pulling their NFTs down and just throwing them out on the battlefield.
It's like a major Dungeons and Dragons throwdown.
Yeah, pretty much at that point. You know, that's how NFTs pretty much will work in the future.
Wow. So you know who Vitalik Buterin is?
He's Ethereum guy, right?
He's a genius. He's just a smart dude. But yes, he's Ethereum, one of the co-founders of Ethereum.
Which that's why I invest heavily in Ethereum.
So this guy looks like he's not one of those like a Matt Best. You don't want to fuck with this guy. You're like, hey, why don't I fuck with this guy? But he's a smart dude and he does smart things.
I love his clothing because he wears like the same shirts I wear, like unicorns, kittens, llamas, like death metal shirts. This is kind of guy I can sit down and have a coffee with and be like, hey, what's up?
So cryptocurrency and prodigy and Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin recently promoted a crypto fundraiser for Ukrainian civilians where contributions were collected on Ether. Raised close to $7 million US. Vitalik, a Russian Canadian, called Putin a bully, and also said that Ethereum is neutral. I am not.
I like this guy already.
Which is fucking badass. This kid looks like he's in his 20s.
It looks like someone I would have hung out with in my younger years. Because I wasn't really like a super nerd back in the day. I was like more of the death metal guy. But when I'd see people like this, I'm like, yeah, you're probably cool. I'm going to hang out with you because, you probably got bullied in high school. Screw all them bullies, man. I'm going to hang out. You're going to be like the next billionaire and, look at him.
And he is one of the richest people in the world. He's a super multi-billionaire.
He's Donald Trump level.
Holy fuck, dude! It's after 9, or it's after 10 your time.
No, I just looked down at the clock. I was like, holy crap, man.
So I'm going to tell one last story. Thank you all for being here, all of you. I got number 13. Here we go. This Philadelphia cream cheese, we've been lied to. Dude, my childhood has been a lie. I don't like being lied to, but this is kind of cool. Philadelphia cream cheese is not in any way, shape, or form from Philadelphia. It is not made here now, nor was it made there at any point in the 135-year history. The archetype of the thick spread that's become part of the American breakfast canon is not just breakfast, dude. I put cream cheese in like mashed potatoes. I'll put it in everything. Everything that I make, not everything. Most of the things that I make that require a creamy substance has cream cheese in it, and it's.
I use cream cheese in my pierogies when I make pierogies.
But then you have like, if you want like a dipper thing or something like that, because you can see the sweet chili and all of the other things. You can dip crackers and shit in there. So Philadelphia cream cheese has expanded since they've been born, but no, they've never ever been in Philadelphia, and there's a reason for that. In fact, that Philadelphia in the name stems not from location, but from reputation. In 1880, when New York cheese broker Alva Reynolds pitched New York dairyman William Lawrence on creating a better branding for his new product, which was richer and creamier and fresher than the most common Neufchâtel cheese. Philly was widely considered the country's top spot for high-quality dairy, and that's why the dude making the cream cheese chose Philly in the name from New York, only because Philly was recognized as the place for the best whatever the fuck. So Philly cream cheese has never been in Philadelphia. They've always been in New York, which is fine. It's delicious.
Yeah, I don't know how to make cream cheese from scratch. So
hey, the dude figured it out, and he says, "Hey, Philly cream cheese only because they got better cows in Philly."
You can't have a New York style bagel without having cream cheese on it.
I like that shit on everything, dude. I was thinking about this. It's not just a breakfast thing. It's like when I cook. If I need something that's more creamy, that needs to be more creamy, I'll add cream cheese.
If it needs to be creamier than like yogurt or sour cream at that point. Because, I mean, technically yogurt and sour cream are the same thing. People don't realize that, but
sour cream is better.
I'll eat like those little tiny sour cream things like yogurt.
Oh shit, yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
I don't care. It's just, everyone's like, dairy's bad for you. Yeah, well, I love my dairy. So I grew up in
dairy's bad for you. Why? Tell me why.
Grew up in the Appalachian Mountains, where dairy is everything, and 99% of your meals are made with cheese. So
cheese or milk or whatever.
Yes. You ain't lived life until you've drank real raw milk. I tell people this all the time. If you've never had like raw milk straight from the udder, you're missing out.
That's weird.
I'm talking about straight from the udder. Straight from the udder.
Yeah. So you like put your lips on the teat and go.
No, like that. No, like melt and like a lot of the dairy farms up.
Oh, it's unpasteurized. Unpasteurized milk.
Yeah, raw milk. They'll have like a cold stream, kind of like a freshwater stream running through their dairy.
I'm thinking you had a hot milk stream going into your mouth.
No, I've experienced that too before, but it was just kind of like, was it as good as like nice cold spring water, cold raw milk with the cream, that blue cream sitting on the top? Perfect.
Is it blue?
It has a bluish color to it.
Wow,
that's the best way. Like, I mean, I'm colorblind, so I might be like identifying it wrong.
It
might
could be
purple or something.
It could be red. I don't know.
It's good stuff, though. It's good stuff.
I've never even considered drinking raw milk just because. It just seems weird.
I mean, my entire family was like pretty much raised on that, like raw milk. Huh? The whole pasteurization of milk wasn't like something just recently when they started like the federal government coming in and being like, you gotta pasteurize your milk for safety.
Oh, which is horrible because you kill all the other things that make it taste good.
For all the other like natural probiotics that are in there, like everyone's about probiotics nowadays,
True.
But I mean, making like a butter or whipped cream or any of that stuff straight from the actual cream of the milk is some of the best stuff on the planet. Best tasted stuff on the planet. Huh?
I think I need to expand my palate.
I like goat cheese too, and people were like, "Ooh, goat cheese is nasty."
Is it? No, it's not. It's not. Goat cheese.
Goat milk. Yeah. Goat milk is good. Goat milk. I like goat milk. When people are weird shit that people just like freak out about because they're just so used to, I'll get my milk from the cow. All right. Well, I mean, throughout all of humanity, I mean, I think there's still places in like Mongolia and stuff that they drink horse milk and camel milk. Huh?
Okay, so who does almond milk? What country does almond milk?
That's not milk.
Where do the fucking almonds grow? That I can squish their boobs
Please.
And get milk out of.
Show me the teat on them. I mean, there was like this big argument about like maybe 2-3 years ago where I think the FDA was considering re-changing like the wording for like oat milk and almond milk and soy milk to
they need to
like that.
They need to because people think that's actually milk. It's just meh. It's a vegan form of that milk.
No, you're just crushing up. It's no different than me taking a bunch of walnuts and squishing them down and making walnut oil.
Okay, how many almonds do you need to squish to get a pint or a gallon? I have no idea.
But I'm pretty sure it's
a
way
lot.
Way more energy extensive than just milking a cow at that point.
And what happens to the rest of that slag that comes off? What do you do with that? I have no idea. I'd like to learn more. If anybody here in the audience knows, how do you?
That'd be cool. I'm gonna write that down. Hold on. I'm gonna put that in my notebook.
Do it. Do it.
Do a little research project.
What happens? What happens to the other stuff?
Yeah, where does all the almond milk go?
Almond milk or whatever milk.
Write that down.
Anyway, I think we're gonna sign off, man. We're way past time. I appreciate you hanging out. I appreciate everyone hanging out here. This is great. Anyway, my name is Kaz. That's Pookie, and we've got a show on Friday, but we have other shows. So you can check out WTF Nation Radio. On Monday is the Monday edition. Tuesday is Pop Culture Warrior. There's a show this Tuesday with a guest. I have no idea who the guest is. I've heard that there's a guest, and it's been confirmed that there's a guest. I have no idea who it is. Wednesday is Adonza. Thursday is Sergeant's Time with Ice and Spanky, and then we're back here on Fridays. So have a great night, and I gotta click the right thing here. All right, everybody, you guys take off. Heath Barlow says 225 almonds per half gallon. I don't think you can get a half a gallon of anything out of 225 almonds. I think he's lying to us. All right, everybody, you guys have a great night, and we're out, man. Have a great weekend.
This is WTF Nation Radio.
My friend came to the door. She said, well, I was on the phone cooking me and my baby some breakfast. And she said, hey, something wrong. It's popping. I said, what? She said, yeah. I said, no. So the girl come downstairs. She come out her apartment with her baby with no shoes on. I said, oh, girl, it's cold outside. She said, something ain't right. I said, oh, man. She said, oh, man, the building is on fire. I said, no, what? I got my 3 kids and we bounced out. We ain't gonna be in no fire, not today.
The voice of